here, let's do the cases being dropped real quick. We'll do some lib watch here. All the Trump cases are getting thrown out because he's the God King now.
On the air with breaking news about President-elect Donald Trump, the Justice Department Special Counsel Jack Smith just filed a motion to dismiss the federal criminal case against the president-elect over his efforts to overturn the 2020 election results. The news comes after NBC News learned the Justice Department had been planning to wind down its federal cases against Mr. Trump. It also comes as NBC News learned that
Lamont Drake apparently donated to the ACP. Yeah, get the out of here. No, he didn't. But Drake is also not a good time to recognize or admit this, but he has been one of the most prominent artists out there that has actually openly been pro-Palestine early on.
Smith and his team plan to resign.
Ultra rare Drake W.
Before Mr. Trump returns to the White House. We want to go straight to our justice and intelligence correspondent, Ken Delaney. And Ken, fill us in here.
Lester, Special Counsel Jack Smith and his team have filed a sparse but historic document here asking Judge Tanya Chutkan to dismiss this case. And the grounds they gave is essentially that the Justice Department has always held historically that a sitting president can't be prosecuted or indicted, and that principle applies here. Let me just read a little bit from what.
Now they won't even let Trump fire them. They're surrendering, and Trump takes a victory lap without suffering a bad news cycle. Yeah. And also, it literally confirms everything Trump has been saying. Like, there has never been a better moment to be a Trump supporter than this moment. Every single thing that he said about, like, these loser, cowardly Dems are coming after me, doing lawfare, you're basically admitting you don't have any interest in preserving the institutions or the rule of law if you're going to be like, well, I guess we can't do anything because you're the president now. That's it. Utter humiliating defeat for all of these institution defenders, these lovers of institutions. Once again, the damage that this will do, the damage that this will personally do, if the Democrats actually did care about preserving the integrity of these institutions, the damage that this act does to the validity and the legitimacy of those institutions are insurmountable. It's completely just throw it away. It's like Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski going down the Mar-a-Lago to kiss Trump's ring after 8 years of calling him a fascist. Then you didn't believe it at all. You didn't believe that he was a fascist at all. You were just lying. It's like when Democrats turn around and say, like, yeah, you know what? Immigrants are actually bad. We got to do the border ourselves. After calling Republicans racist for 4, 5, 6, 7 years. Okay, I guess you admit it then. You're just a liar. You don't give a shit. In light of this, what are your opinions on leftists voting third party this year and letting this guy do this damage? I understand why some leftists, but this is a bad precedent for Trump to set. If you think this is the fault of, like, random people who voted third party, who Kamala Harris lost by such wide margins that, like, their votes were inconsequential regardless, you are stupid, okay? There is no better way to put it. You are watching Democrats in key positions right now taking a knee and genuflecting to this fascist piece of. And you're still like, you know who's at fault here? Random third-party voters, actually, who, if they all voted for the Democrats, would have still not allowed the Democratic Party to win, okay? You cannot outflank the Democratic Party. You cannot make the assertion that these people are automatically in the tank for the Democratic Party, but are silly and selfish, and that's why they're not voting for the Democrats. This is an idiotic way to campaign, okay? That's not how this works. And what's happening right now is far, far, far more consequential. People need to cut this out, okay? Stop. Do you work for the DNC? Do you have pay stubs to show for it? Why are you defending their inadequacy for free on an independent outlet such as myself? Okay? You're coming to a community of leftists to be like, I am going to defend the $700,000 salary winning idiotic analysts and campaign staffers that literally openly consulted the Democratic Party to lose. I'm going to defend them and their integrity. It's like these guys are getting paid six figures. They melted $1 billion. They were $30 million in debt by the end of this campaign, and they lost. It's so dumb. Stop Stop playing. Stop being a mark. Okay, please, I beg of you. Stop being a sucker. Stop being a sucker for those who are in positions of power within the Democratic Party. You are literally doing their bidding. You are refusing to recognize the truth, and you are allowing the Democrats to continue building this narrative that it was actually some random leftist that caused the Democrats to lose again. These people are defending the DNC when Trump has not even gotten into power because they are worried of any transformation to the Democratic Party or growing efforts to leave the party as a whole. I really want to see what Bernie and his organizations are going to do soon. They're planning something. We'll see.
What they wrote. They said that the department and the country have never faced the circumstance here where a federal indictment against a private citizen has been returned by a grand jury and a criminal prosecution is already underway when the defendant is elected president. Confronted with this unprecedented situation, the special counsel's office consulted with the department's Office of Legal Counsel. That's the group inside the DOJ that decides constitutional legal positions. And then they said that after careful consideration, the Justice Department has determined that the OLC's prior opinions concerning the Constitution's prohibition on federal indictment and prosecution of a sitting president apply to this situation, Lester. So, look, this indictment, this involves the three conspiracies Donald Trump is accused of in an effort to cling to power after the 2020 election. And it marked an extraordinary moment in American history. This is the first ever accusation that a sitting president committed crimes in an effort to cling to power. The dismissal also marks an extraordinary moment. 50 years after Richard Nixon was forced by lawmakers from both parties to resign the presidency amid allegations of criminal conduct, half of American voters discounted equally serious charges of criminal misconduct in office against Donald Trump. They returned Mr. Trump to the presidency. And if the lesson of Watergate was that no one was above the law, the lesson of the Trump era is that a majority of Americans have decided that this principle no longer applies. And what I can tell you, Lester, is that we also expect a filing in the other case, which has been dismissed by the judge, that classified documents case against Mr. Trump, which is on appeal. We expect a filing there, although it's not clear exactly what that filing will say because there are two other defendants in that case. And Jack Smith, the special counsel, is required to file a report to the Attorney General before he leaves office explaining his prosecution decisions.
Wouldn't it be wrong to try and jail and pull to court an upcoming president, though, because it internally weakens the country? Some things are more important than partisan fighting. Brother, you either think Trump is a threat to American democracy and is a die-in-the-wool fascist, or you just lied about it for years. I personally think he is, okay? I think he does spell great trouble for American democracy and the future of America in general, and he is a straightforward, ultra-nationalist fascist at this point, okay? Doesn't matter if he's like personally invested in some ideological variant of Nazi ideology. What matters is his output. What matters is what he's doing, okay? He violated the rules regardless. Why the would you cast that aside? He might be, but he's still the leader. Weakening him weakens the country. Yes, dude, you're a dumbass, okay? Weakening him weakens the country. We need pile alongside Donald Trump. Liberals and their endless defense of the status quo is precisely the reason why they will always show their bellies, okay? They will always allow fascism to thrive, okay? It's the same principle, never question power, and also it's the same like vague gesture towards like bipartisanship. You know what I mean? You don't understand. We must obey. We must obey. No matter how far he goes, we have to obey, okay? Because God forbid America gets weakened. I mean, what are you talking about? Yeah. Good luck. Good luck to you, charitable chinchilla, as Donald Trump sets up utilizing the military to mass deport 20 million people. This is part of the reason why I'm telling you, I have said time and time again that things are different this time around. Things are different.
Nobody.
What is this? Oh, things are different this time around because liberals are not even doing the 2016 hashtag resistance shit. Yeah, no, it's the clip that what's his face, HasanAbi Productions posted, the one where he spliced up with me playing the Korean goon dating sim
with his straight up radical, anti-American, anti-Semitic pro-China.
Unaware, narcissistic fascist, he probably doesn't understand why he can't dictate everything. Inner GOP faithfuls will try to treat him like a useful idiot to tear down the normal institutions and keep the party entrenched in power.
And Merrick Garland has a policy of making those reports public. So we can expect to see a public report, Lester. But in this case, we don't expect it to go much beyond the volume of material that is already in the public record about both of these criminal cases.
All right, Ken Delaney, and thank you. Let me bring in our senior legal correspondent, Laura Jarrett. Laura, what is the chance, putting politics aside, what's the chance of resuming the case 4 years from now?
Very little. You and I both noted as the filing was coming in that it said without prejudice, which means theoretically they could bring it again, but it seems highly unlikely, Lester, even notwithstanding statute of limitations issues, all of the effort and resources that were put into this, they never really got off the ground. They didn't get anywhere close to a jury trial, much less the conclusion and sentencing. They just never got there. But between the delays with the Supreme Court decision on immunity and Trump's own efforts to try to get the case blocked, I think the real question now is just whether we even see a final report from Smith's office laying out sort of what evidence he would have adduced at trial. He was also required to explain in that report why he didn't bring any charges, if there were anything that he held back. He's supposed to explain.
He had
that.
already developed a roadmap to get around the Supreme Court ruling on immunity.
He had tried, and they did a superseding indictment, so essentially rewriting the indictment to be more in line with that, kept out some of the evidence that the Supreme Court said was off limits. But even still, he was at the beginning stages of that. Trump was likely to appeal even that new indictment. And so it just really never got off the ground. So the facts didn't change. The evidence didn't change. The only thing that changed is his status.
Thanks for watching. Stay up.
To politics now, in the new Trump cabinet ready for confirmation. The president-elect announced a series of top administration picks just over the weekend, including hedge fund manager Scott Bessent to be Treasury Secretary and Congresswoman Lori Chavez DeRemer as Labor Secretary. Trump needed less than 3 weeks to pick his cabinet, but some of his more controversial picks may have trouble getting approved by the Senate. Nicole Killian is in West Palm Beach for us, covering the transition as she has been for days now. Nicole, good morning.
Hey, good morning to you, Tony. Now that President-elect Trump has made most of his key picks, there are new calls for them to get FBI background checks. But overall, the public is giving him positive marks.
As President-elect Donald Trump put the finishing touches on his cabinet choices this weekend, a new CBS News poll finds 59% of Americans approve of how he's handling the transition.
We're going to have hearings early so we can get his team in place when he takes the oath of office on January 20th.
The poll also shows many of Trump's designees have more support than opposition. That includes some of his more controversial picks, like Robert F. Kennedy Jr. for Health and Human Services, Tulsi Gabbard for Director of National Intelligence.
There's a major disconnect with reality in this country. I can't. Everything is bad and only slated to get worse. Do you understand? Like, everything is bad and it's only going to get worse. And there is... I feel like there are not enough people that are actively speaking out against how insane things are getting. And only until people are staring down the actual ever-present danger of Trump's fascist, white nativist, anti-immigrant policies and how devastating that is for the lives of millions of Americans, will they turn around and go, oh, man, we up. And at that point, it'll be far too late. Okay, Donald Trump is going to impose tariffs on Canada and Mexico.
Transition is going on. In the meantime, the president-elect is weighing in on what's going to happen on January 20th. Just moments ago on a Truth Social, the president-elect wrote this: as everyone is aware, thousands of people are pouring through Mexico and Canada, bringing crime and drugs at levels never seen before. Right now, a caravan is coming from Mexico composed of thousands of people. It seems to be unstoppable in its quest to come through our currently open border. On January 20th, as one of my many first executive orders, I will sign all necessary documents to charge Mexico and Canada a 25% tariff on all products coming into the United States and its ridiculous open borders. This tariff will remain in effect until such time as drugs, in particular fentanyl, and all the illegal aliens stop this invasion of our country. Both Mexico and Canada have the absolute right and power.
Wait, these goddamn Canadians, dude. These goddamn Canadians, they're invading our borders, our beautiful borders. Where my country gone? Here's the longer piece. He just said Canadians are pouring through. Oh my God, he did it. The mad lad. Oh my God, another meme. Another meme has become reality. Oh my God. Hey, yo. Oh my God. This is amazing. Build the northern wall. Let's go. Let's go, dude. About damn time. Right now, a caravan coming from Mexico composed of thousands of people seems to be unstoppable in its quest to come through our currently open border. He just invented a caravan too. As one of my many first executive orders, I will sign all necessary documents to charge Mexico and Canada 25% tariff on all products coming into the United States and its ridiculous open borders. This tariff will remain in effect until such time as drugs, in particular fentanyl, and all illegal aliens stop this invasion of our country. Both Mexico and Canada have the absolute right and power to easily solve this long simmering problem. We hereby demand that they use this power, and until such time that they do, it's time for them to pay a very big price. I've had many talks with China about the massive amounts of drugs, in particular fentanyl, being sent to the United States, but to no avail. Representatives of China told me that they would institute their maximum penalty, that of death, for any drug dealers caught doing this. But unfortunately, they never followed through, and drugs are pouring into our country, mostly through Mexico, at levels never seen before. Until such time as they stop, we will be charging China an additional 10% tariff above any additional tariffs on all of their many products coming into the United States of America. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Boys, just want to say good luck to the future of this country. I feel like if implemented, these tariffs are going to laser prices in the opposite direction. Like, I can't understand it. It feels like he's just purposely trying to destroy the economy. I'm telling you now, the walls are not to keep Mexicans out. It's to keep your ass in, okay? Very quickly, you will find that it turns out the walls were not there to keep the Guatemalans out. Oh no, they were to keep you in here, okay? Holy what a spectacular future. Oh my God. Incredible.
To easily solve this long simmering problem, we hereby demand that they use this power. Until such time they do, it is time for them to pay a very big price. He went on to add that he is also adding 10% to all products from China if they don't stop.
Also, weak sauce that he's given 10% to China, but 25% to Canada and Mexico, two of America's most valuable trade partners. Oh my God. I think it's supposed to be 25 plus 10. Oh, he's adding. Oh, he's doing. Oh my God. Wait. So China gets 35%. How much of that is trade for America? It's got to be near 50%. Like, if you compile Canada, Mexico, and China, like it's probably almost half of all American trade at that point. List of largest trading partners in the United States. Oh, they said they were going to do that to the European Union too. Donald Trump is a J.D. Pons style permanent first world genocidist, it seems. He said, no more treats. No more treats for you, fatty. It's almost half. Oh my God. Oh no. Dude. Oh my God. Oh no. It's 45%. I was right. Oh, this is so stupid. Like, this is, people will say, Hasan, how are you like laughing about this? But it's like, it's so completely out of my hands. Will that also apply to the electric power that the USA gets from Canada? I don't know. 45% is not 50%. I said almost 50%. Okay, calm down. In 2021, the U.S. increased imports of oils, minerals, lime, and cement from Canada from $60.3 billion in 2020 to $105.3 billion, an increase of 74%. In 2021, the imports of oils, minerals, lime, and cement from Canada constituted almost half of the total U.S. imports of these commodities. We've already described how tariffs work, right? Like, I think everybody here, at least now at this point, understands how it works. Like, it's a fee that companies that are importing stuff are going to have to pay to the government, and therefore therefore they're going to make the cost of goods that much higher for the average American. They're going to carry over the cost. They're not going to like eat away at their profits, eat away at their profit margins. It's going to make every single thing more expensive. So it's basically a sales tax. No, dude, China doesn't pay the tariffs. What are you talking about? Shut up. What? That's not real. No, why would they pay for the tariff?
You want to allow them to come through Canada? We're going to tariff you. Tweet. You want to allow drugs to come through our southern border? We're going to tariff you. You want to allow them to come through Canada? We're going to tariff you. China, if you're going to allow this stuff to get sold in our country, largely produced in China, we're going to add another 10% to your share. We are going to cost your countries, your economies. We're going to cost your businesses billions, hundreds of billions of dollars. If you think you're going to poison Americans, it's not going to happen. You're not going to destroy our youth. You're not going to destroy our society. You're not going to destroy our families. You're not going to do it. It's going to cost you. I'm going to put an end to it. Laura, when my father sent that 20 minutes ago, I literally cheered out loud. Their tweet. You want?
This is crazy. I run a manufacturing shop in New Jersey. We build circuit breakers, switchgear for generators. The breakers we buy are built in Mexico. Our main enclosure manufacturers in Canada, and China is the third largest copper producer in the world. I'm Brian Kilme. I don't understand. Like, do they legitimately think that China's going to pay for it or something? Like, I don't. Like, how would China have the capacity to pay for it? Do you think that they're just going to give money to the people that are importing it, or do you think they're going to cut costs to make up for the tariffs? Is that what it is? Even though they haven't done that? Like, how are they thinking that this process works? Hasan, don't you remember the hater video we watched? Most people don't think at all. It's true, but it's so funny being Canadian right now, being in the Canadian government, being like, what? Drugs are coming over our border? What are you saying? Like, what? There's a mass influx of migrants fleeing Canada into America? What? Why do tariffs raise prices but corporate taxes don't? First of all, when have we increased the corporate tax rate? You mean to say, why don't prices decrease when corporate tax rates decrease? If that's your question, then yes, that would be a good question to ask economists. It seemingly never goes in that direction. But as far as like a corporate tax versus tariffs, it makes sense. You can move certain things around. But a complete tariff on all of the raw materials necessary will, of course, increase the cost. Like, taxes on the corporate side are coming in after the fact. It's coming off of your profits. It's coming off of your the revenue generated. Tariffs are not. Tariffs are just raw goods, materials necessary for production. It's just making the production more costly. It's that simple. Also, holy dude, look at this. 73% of overall cable news audience's prime time is watching Fox News. MSNBC is getting 16%. CNN's getting 11%. Holy. Yeah, I've said this before as well. I think they want to cut income tax as a substitute. I like that the dumbasses over at Fox News basically kept crying about mainstream media, and then they cried themselves into being the only mainstream media outlet. And it's still funny because like right-wingers still complain. They still talk about the overrepresentation of libtards in mainstream news and shit. About 25% of the lumber used in the U.S. is Canadian. It'll kill home builders. If 45% of U.S. imports were increased by 35%, it would raise the cost of goods in total approximately by $71.34 billion. That's $71.34 billion that the rich don't need to be taxed. That's so crazy. Single warfare against more than half the world usually turns out fine. Well, at a certain point, the quantitative shift engenders a qualitative shift. And if you're imposing the siege on yourself, but the extraordinary nature of U.S. hegemony means we are not quite there. I don't imagine the people with any idea about how any of this will actually let Trump impose the moron China tariffs he loves to talk about. But if perchance he somehow gets that done, we might find out about all this sooner. What is this? Alarm about sanctions has reached the highest levels of the U.S. government. Some senior administration officials have told President Biden directly that the overuse of sanctions risks making the tool less valuable. If you remember, we were ringing the alarm bells about the sanctions already early on, but of course, Jeff over at WAPO did a fantastic piece on America's sanctions regimes skyrocketing and basically creating an entire universe of countries that are completely outside of the sphere of influence of America, because they had the because they had to basically create a secondary market for themselves. Turns out if you sanction half the planet, then you basically have created half of the planet's new market. You force them into a secondary market. Holy
sending fentanyl and products, drug products through Mexico. That is in addition to the tariffs already.
Tariffs are not supposed to be used as a punitive measure, right? The ideal situation is to use them while also beefing up manufacturing. They encourage a return to American products, but we're not getting that part, are we? Yes. And you can also do that for like raw materials. Like there's just shit that's not here. You know what I mean? Like, what are you supposed to do? Not only do we not have manufacturing, but like, it also doesn't make sense if you just don't have certain raw materials and you're just slapping a tariff onto it because you're mad. Like, what are you supposed to do? Yeah, bananas, coffee, avocado, lithium. Well, I mean, I guess lithium, there's places. It's just going to be devastating for the American environment too. That's the other aspect of this. Like, we have trees. It's not like we don't have trees. Let's say we beef up the lumber industry to make up for the additional demand that we're not getting, or to make up for the additional supply that we're not getting from Canada. Okay, now you're just like wiping out entire forests in America. You know what I mean? Like everything is bad. I don't know how else to describe it. I do not see a good way out of this, is what I mean. Okay.